Are you sure we can start?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we're live.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Old Reader, New Reader with Amanda, myself, Maddie, and Omar, of course. We are so happy to be joining all of you on the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, right before the end of the month. So welcome back. Today, as you guys know, we are going to be talking about Kingdom Come, written by Mark Waid with artwork by the amazing Alex Ross. For those of you who have never read the story or want a refresher, basically the plot, they use the Book of Revelation as a backdrop for the entire, is it 5 issues, right, Omar? Yeah, four issues. And basically it's told through the viewpoint of an everyman, Norman, who is a pastor, and that's why we get the Book of Revelation. He is visited by the Spectre, and the Spectre takes him on a journey to view all of the different things that are going on right now in this world that starts out without Superman. He's pretty much retired after a event with Magog. I'm probably going to mispronounce some of these people because it's the first time I've heard of them. And
You're doing good so far. You got Superman and Spectre. Good job.
Not Magog. How do you say that name?
I always pronounced it like that. Magog.
Yeah, I always say Magog.
It's a demon from biblical, right? Like, I just remember the character.
Oh.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Yes. So through Norman, we get to see Superman starting out retired, coming back into the game. While he was retired, we have a bunch of these new metahumans who have kind of taken it upon themselves to be judge, jury, executioner. They do not have the same standards and values as Superman, and so the Earth is right now is kind of in a little bit of a chaos, and that's where we get that whole idea of Revelations coming into play. And so you see and to ask and fix this, and all of this we're seeing through Norman's viewpoint. So that's kind of the beginning of it, and that's how the story transpires. So we have Superman returning because, you know, he's been asked by Wonder Woman, he sees what's going on. From that point forward, we see how he handles these metahumans. We see how another group of our supervillains handle. We see how Batman's handling it, and how all of these powers come together, and we're seeing it all through Norman and the Spectre as they travel amongst the spectrum, the Flashpoint. I'm not really the Speed Force.
The Flashpoint.
Anyway,
what?
Sorry, the Speed Force.
Not that Mark Waid book.
Not that Mark Waid book. So basically, that's kind of where the story starts off. So do you want to talk about it book by book?
Yeah, you did a really good job. That was really nice.
I think I kind of got through the first chapter.
Well, it's a lot for a 4-issue miniseries. It was a lot. This was sold as an Elseworld Tales.
That's what I saw in there. Yeah.
But to me, this always felt like the definitive ending to what the DC universe should be like. This to me, and at one time, I wasn't the only one. Even DC editors themselves were like, "Okay, we're gonna like," especially after the Superman crossover. Our worlds at war. He wore that black S to honor the people that died during that. So it looked like, and Wonder Woman had the armor on from this during that fight to kind of honor the dead. So it was really cool at one time that they were kind of shaping the stories to go that way. I'm sorry, Maddie. Why don't you take it from here, Madeline?
Take it where? Are we just going to talk about
issue 1? Yeah, let's talk about you two.
Right.
I know you're a little more familiar than Amanda is with the DC universe, but
yeah,
at one point, I'm sure you two were like, "Holy shit, this is a lot." There's a lot of characters, and they don't look like anything like they used to, or some of them are sons and daughters of characters that kind of have taken on the mantles. So I know it's probably you've been reading for over about a year and a half, and Amanda's been reading for about a year. So at one point, were you all lost, or were you?
To be honest, a little bit with some of the characters. unless they were familiar to me, like even like it's because Batman's drawn older and Superman not really. I could tell who he is, but like Batman's drawn older, and without seeing him in the cave itself or anything like that, I wouldn't have guessed that was Batman. But after obviously then I realized who it was. But some of the metahumans or other superheroes you see, I wasn't too familiar with. They looked kind of like they should be familiar to me. Well, I didn't know who the Spectre was either.
Okay.
So I kept expecting him to be like a surprise.
You had read a little bit about him. Remember, he was Hal Jordan took on.
That's right.
Oh,
that's right. That's why it sounded familiar.
So remember, he was the human host, even though he was dead. He became the spirit of vengeance. Well, because I'm asking because like things like this, right off the bat, it starts off with the death of Wesley Dodd, who is the Golden Age Sandman. Yeah. Now they say that, but this is not Morpheus Sandman. This isn't every goth girl's crush Sandman by Neil Gaiman. This is original classic Golden Age Sandman. So it starts off with him passing away, and he was one of the original JSA members. So there is so much in here that I was as I was reading them, I had a huge grin on my face because I love this story so much. Then I was like, oh crap, I wonder if Maddie and Amanda are it's a basic story. It's pretty
simple. I didn't really have any trouble like recognizing anybody. Of course I don't know any of the new metahumans, but I assumed that they were made up just for the story because and just for this Earth, right? So
like you got Dick Grayson, Starfire's daughter, right there.
Oh,
and you're like,
yes, that's who.
See, like characters like that they never come out and say, "Oh, my daughter," but in the background, there's so much going on that you kind of put two and two together. And no matter how many times I've reread this, it's so fun to look at the things that I missed before, or look at all the Easter eggs. All right, I'm sorry, May, go ahead. I just keep flipping through a page and I see things. I'm like,
just interrupting me as I go. I see. But yeah, most people I could recognize, and as long as they were named, it was fine. I'd like to see how people aged and how they looked. And that was really neat because they didn't, some artists, when they age up characters, they still look too pretty. Like, like time never touches them or anything like that. And so it was very neat to see how, Alex Ross did it. And Dinah threw me for a loop. When I saw Dinah, I was like, wait, what? And she goes up to be this like this kind of like for lack of a better word, like very masculine, I guess, looking older woman. And I was like, oh, whoa, okay. And I was like, what? Actually, that makes sense for a character, and so that was really neat.
She looked like her mom, like that. Because remember, she wore a wig, so she doesn't. Well, of course, that's back then too. I don't know if the new Rebirth, if she has blonde hair or if she was wearing a wig.
Donna looked weird to me, but you told me you would explain it to me on the show because I didn't understand why Donna didn't age, even though she's an Amazon, and yet Wonder Woman looks immaculate and perfect. So I was like, well,
that was the intent. Mark Waid, I'm sorry, Alex Ross wanted to show the everlasting beauty and strength of Wonder Woman by comparing her to somebody that didn't take up the mantle. Because Wonder Woman never gave up the mantle of being Wonder Woman. And you got to keep in mind that this is also what Donna Troy has had multiple origins. So we have no idea which origin they're going with here.
True.
Right?
So I don't know. At this point in time, like how they consider Amazons. Because Amazons as a whole, typically, from my understanding of most stories I've read, are immortal-ish. You know what I mean? Like they just don't age. They live for hundreds of years, right? Or if longer, I don't really know. It's basically a long time. And in that respect, don't age in the same way. And so I was just very confused when Donna did. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that she and Roy are hanging out. It makes me happy, but like...
there was so much. Like...
Not to focus on a little minuscule thing.
I
like the book a lot.
But that's what the story is. You focus on the little things. Like, for example, so Donna Troy is no longer Wonder Woman. She's also given up her Dark Star powers because now one can assume is her son has taken that mantle. And that son is also the son of Terry because he's got curly red hair like Terry did. And now everybody knows that Terry's been written out of continuity. He's gone. Like gone, as he is no longer even before Crisis or Infinite Crisis. He's been gone.
Their son was in that? See, I missed a lot.
Yeah, like he's the Dark Star in this.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah, see, I guess
so,
those characters I don't know.
yeah,
I know
it's
the
a lot.
main people, most of the main people, like,
Yes.
like seeing Deadman. I love him, so I was very excited. I've never seen him that skeleton-y, but
That was awesome scene.
it was nice to see him.
So those aren't even considered Easter eggs. I love how deep this book is, because every read through you're like, oh, how the hell did I miss that the first 85 times I read this book? Like
Right.
a lot, especially a lot of the kids. Like I totally missed a lot of these things. Like who was it? It was Dick's daughter, Starfire's daughter, is macking on Talia al Ghul and Bruce Wayne's son. Like in the background, and then that's where that comment comes at the end, where Bruce is like, well, they're getting along or something like that. It's so much going on that he put. I mean,
Yeah.
like, just looking at these panels right here from the club, there's just so much going on in characters that like Lobo with a Bite Me Fanboy t-shirt. But my favorite panel is, let's see if I can find it really quick, is this panel right over here, which shows Rorschach, Sherlock Holmes, The Question, like all these great detectives. Oh, it's wonderful. And, those are Easter eggs. But then there's also real characters in the back, too. So, yeah, that's issue 1. Issue 1 sets up everything that happens in this future. Norman knows of this oncoming doom, and is it even his role to even prevent it from happening? Or is the Spectre just seeing?
Yeah, because in the beginning
happen?
we don't really even know like where that's going, even why it was chosen.
Yeah.
Like he's just this priest who was taking care of someone that he thought was mentally ill, who I guess was mentally ill, but not related to those, visions that were actual visions.
Exactly.
And then he's just, it's a very much Marvel's vibe, which isn't just because of Alex Ross. Maybe it's just because Alex Ross is the one who's meant to do these stories.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think it would have felt the same without it. I want Alex Ross to do all of my like main character is a regular dude stories. It was really, really neat to start out with, and I,
who was a big fan of Alex Ross was First Lady Barbara Bush.
Really?
Yep. She had a painting of his in the White House. Like he is the first comic book artist with a painting in the White House, because she apparently saw one of his art, like I don't know what he even drew, but I remember meeting him at a convention and he was telling that story. It was really cool.
That is really cool. I didn't even know that.
Continue, Maddie.
Huh?
I was saying carry on. I won't interrupt. I just know Easter eggs.
Yeah, I wish I caught. And I look forward to reading it again, because I think it's definitely something that I'd like to keep piecing it together as I go, and maybe even revisit it as I read more DC titles. Because I'm sure as I continue to go, there's more I notice. But yeah, it was a really interesting look, and it was the story is so very Mark Waid, because it reminds me of so much of his other works as well. Especially after reading Your Demon Bull, just it seems like he loves taking these heroes and kind of doing a big what if, but an interesting what if and a believable what if, because some people do, if this makes sense, do these kind of big situations with these heroes, but do in a way that doesn't make sense for their characters. But I felt like this made sense for everyone's character. I could see every one of them doing this. We can talk more as we go through, but some moments with Superman right at the end make a lot of sense. And I can't wait to talk about Shazam, but we can keep going, kind of like.
So yeah, let's talk about let's keep talking about issue 1. So apparently, this horrible thing happened in Kansas where Magog kind of accidentally took his new team of superheroes and made a huge nuclear blast where they can't grow anything. And something happened before that, which we'll get to because that's not talked about until issue 2. But in issue 1, you have Wonder Woman approaching. And this is how you find out that it's nothing but a dead land. She approaches Clark, who gave up being Superman after this horrible event that happened in Metropolis that also involved Magog, about returning back to, because they need heroes. And he's like, no, I'm good here with my super horse, super monkey, super cat, and super dog. By the way, another Easter egg. All these super animals from the Silver Age.
Oh.
Back here.
Oh, did not know.
Yeah, there's so much. There's crypto, right? Everybody knows crypto. But yeah, there's so much Easter eggs. You could look at one page and be like, just this one page is an homage to Action Comics. It's
and that's an Alex
awesome.
Ross thing, right? Because weren't there Easter eggs in Marvels too when we read that?
Yes.
A lot of Easter eggs in that
but
too.
I think
it's just like a thing.
Yeah, I really think that this one, this is it. This is Easter egg heaven for anybody that likes looking at these things. Seriously.
Yeah, and his art's so beautiful and so detailed
Yes.
that he can do those types of things in a way that is still complete art and also, can make those things unnoticeable in a way at first glance, which is
makes a wink to the
because each page, each part is complete artwork with him. It's amazing. There's no cutting corners.
No, and that's why now this is available in deluxe hardcover, in trade paperback, but it's the way that I think everybody should own it is in absolute format because his art is just that gorgeous to look at in this huge format. Now, these are, one more Easter egg, sorry, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. That Batman is
I didn't know that, but that's awesome.
Yep. So yeah, this is after the scene was like, where's Batman? Oh, he's still around, lurking in Gotham.
In his police state.
Sentinels, badass Batman, old Batman. Yeah. So of course, they need hope. And hope finally comes. And yes, it's Superman.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Classic. I don't want to even say I love the way that he portrays Superman because he's not like cut or like a muscular bodybuilder, but he looks like farm strong. like a guy that's really strong. Farm strong is the way I like to describe Superman in this book. And that is the ending of issue 1, which takes us to issue 2, and then more biblical verses. So
apocalyptic stuff. Yeah.
So why don't you take us through issue 2, there, Amanda?
Sure. What happens? So, issue 2 is really the start of, I guess, Superman and his newly formed Justice League. These guys right there, pretty much coming in and trying to clean up the mess the metahumans made, either make sure they get on board or find out what to do with them. The ones who have kind of taken over all the rest of the Justice League they've all kind of, retreated to their own corners after Superman left too. And so he's brought them back together to try to reclaim this territory and bring back some peace and normalcy to humans, ordinary humans, by getting all of these metahumans in line. I thought it was really interesting that the first thing that they have in chapter 2 is, what is his name? Commando, trying to get rid of the immigrants. I was like, oh, that's super topical right now. Nice.
Hey, that's always been a thing. I'm just glad you guys.
I know it is, but it was great that you could.
I love that. It's like a character that portrays the '90s too. The way he looks. I don't know if you were holding the page up, but it's Is this page right here? Because he's very Image, very Liefeld-ish, very Image, very 90s comic booky character. And I love the sketches. I'll show you the sketches as you keep talking in the back of the way the character development on him is pretty cool. Yeah, here it is. This is how it kind of started out. See, very 90s.
Yeah, it's very 90s.
Mando.
Yes.
All right, take us through issue 2.
Yeah, so you got that going on. He goes to Batman, trying to get Batman to come back with him, and that's where we got this right here. And Batman's pretty like, nope, I don't think we can do it. I think that we have to do it a different way. So you have Batman going his own direction while the rest with his own team, kind of like, Green Arrow's with him, right?
Yeah.
And a few other folks. So he has
Green
his
Arrow,
own team.
Dinah, and then is it Ted Kord?
It's like all the kids.
Yes.
Those are the like 4 old school characters, right? And then like all the kids, like Catwoman 2 and Joker's daughter, and a bunch of the kids that from previous characters.
And they're all it's all the humans hanging out.
Yes.
Yeah, all
also
the
a really important distinction.
Not the ones who are superhuman, if you will. So you got those. Then you have cut to how they're handling everything, which, he's trying to not ruin everything. And Wonder Woman's, I guess, since I'm not familiar with her story, but it seems like she's different. She's supposed to be different in here as far as she's more warrior-like, or more like she's not opposed to violence, maybe that she once was. Getting that vibe,
maybe that a lot in comics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so it doesn't.
Gotcha.
It doesn't always match the image that you may see in a lot of trades or a lot of her stories. But often there's a lot of storylines where she's the one. Well, not she's the one who's more violent, more used to war. And there's like some big events one big event in particular where she does kill someone. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, whoa.
Kicked off a freaking crossover. But
yeah,
everybody thinks that Batman is the dark one. And I like to think that Wonder Woman, like Batman is totally great. And I think Wonder Woman is the character that's the black, the yin to the yang of Superman.
Yes.
Because of the way that she, depending on the writer, of course. When she's written well, I think a true writer kind of gets that and knows what to do with that character. By the way, I love, while we're talking about issue 2, these are the only pages that you ever see a King Arthur style Aquaman with Dolphin as his bride. Because, Mira wasn't that much of a thing back then in the 90s. It was always Aquaman and Dolphin.
Always Dolphin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did not know that.
So yeah, you only see him in like 2 or 3 pages, and then he's like, "Fuck off," let the you guys deal with
let the humans deal with himself. And that's very Aquaman, like, because he struggles with the human world in general. So I thought that was very appropriate.
Well, it was just interesting to see him evolve into that, into something more akin to the role for him. Well, because he's always been straddled that line very well. With the exception of whenever he becomes, like in Jeff Johns' Aquaman, where he's like, okay, well, now I'm just doing this. But, I always felt like there's a lot of storylines where he leans more to the human side. It seems like as he got older, he was like, nah, like I've got responsibility. I'm going to become very much Poseidon-esque king of the seas,
Yes,
that
going to rule his little...
and kind of sad to see him more like...
You're like, but I want to see you coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you have that, but then you have the introduction of our super villain gang led by Lex Luthor.
Oh, the MLF.
The MLF, yes, right.
The MILF.
With this guy. And this guy is Talia, and that's
Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul's son.
I just want to say, if they ever make a movie with him in it, Damien, or the guy who plays Damon from Vampire Diaries, should play him, because that drawing looks just like him. And I know he was like a kid or something when this came out, but
I did not realize who that was at first. I was like, who is this really handsome guy? Because he looks just like
super handsome
Superman or Bruce, because they all look the same. And I was very, very confused. And so then you bring in, Shazam, and it's like, no, it's still the same face, but okay.
Well, no, Shazam has that classic, like...
He's a little more like
look at the face. He looks like a
Cary Grant type of thing. He looks
like that chin from like the 30s and 40s. That's what Billy Batson reminded me of. Let's get that right. Yeah, so I love the MLF, how Lex Luthor's still trying to overthrow this world, even though he has no fucking place in it. But he always has a card up his sleeve, and that is Billy Batson. Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
So Superman is like, oh, I do love the Boy Scout part. Like, he's still a Boy Scout at heart. No more drinking. That's not what superheroes do. No orgies or drinking. We got rules.
No orgies or drinking. Yes.
Yeah. And he's a good old Kansas boy.
Poor Kansas boy. And then they come into the whole idea where the ones who aren't falling in line, they're like, where do we do with them? And this is where he approaches the guy on Apocalypse. Is that right?
Oh, Orion. Yeah. That's Darkseid's son.
Orion. Yeah, so after
the whole time you're like in the silhouette, you're like, oh, it's Darkseid. Why is he approaching? Oh no, Darkseid's dead. It's Orion. It's his kid.
Yeah,
that's Orion. That was really cool.
Yeah, so he approached King Arthur and he said, "Go F off. I don't want this. I don't want to deal with it." Then he went to Orion. He's like, "I have enough problems on my hands because they elected me king now after Darkseid the rule ended, and so then they're trying to come up with a solution." And I think that solution we see in the next chapter, but I think what killed me at the end of this chapter was the big reveal of Batman and his crew coming to join forces with Lex Luthor's MLF. And I can't remember thinking, when would this ever happen? And so that's how chapter 2 ends. We end with this handshake between Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor, and kind of throws your head through a loop because, these are all, enemies who are now becoming friends against a former ally, if you will.
Okay, so before we get on to issue 3, there is one little thing that happened. This is what happened that made Bruce snap.
Yes.
This is the whole thing that everybody's questioning whether he's scared of Magog or not, and that's he let Magog murder the Joker because the Joker murdered all those people at the Daily Planet, including Lois Lane. So it's one of those questions, right? It's like, we're tired of sending this guy to prison. He gets out every time, and obviously he's old now, so a lot of people have died at his hands. And then Magog takes it upon himself to kill the Joker. And that ends that, right?
Right.
And then apparently there was a popularity contest. Was Magog right? Yeah! 18%. Man, how quickly people turn. Jesus.
Yes.
It's not like he sexually harassed somebody. The guy just didn't want to kill people.
He just wanted to be the right one. He has respect for life and sanctity of life, and they just said, nope, it's okay.
Nope. Done.
But it also answers a question. When we get to this point, it answers a question that was asked earlier in the comic, where they said, Superman could find Magog at any time if he was looking. And everybody was asking, why isn't he looking for him? Like, he knows he's going to come up. Why isn't he looking? And that's why, because he can't, even though he's made the step to, step out of the shadows and go back to helping people, he still can't confront that part of himself. So he's just like, I'm just not going to look for him. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm just going to do what I need to do and hope that I don't have to deal with my guilt from years ago.
So of all the people he finally gets to help him, it is in the Fourth World, because we see the Mother Box, but it's scot-free, right? Mr. Miracle, the greatest escape artist, helps him build this prison in Kansas, of all places.
Well, they have the room now.
Well, yes, they do. So, of course, this isn't going to work. You put a bunch of super powered people that don't agree with you together in one huge... It's going to blow up, regardless of who's in charge.
It's a powder keg. Wait, yes. It's a ticking time bomb.
So then we get to my favorite issue. I don't know. Between issues 3 and 4, I can't pick. Issue 3, which is the revelation of... And by the way, the prison is, of course, to look like if you ever saw the Super Friends TV show. It's the Hall of Doom. That's where the bad guys hid. All right. So I'm sorry. I will let you all tell what happened in book 3, issue 3.
Right. So
how did that one start?
That one started basically with the construction. So it starts off with the construction of the prison, and you kind of see Norman and the Spectre are kind of seeing what's going on, right? Everyone's there, but there's fights breaking out constantly. People aren't happy.
Yes,
you have
including
the
people
hologram
from the
of Superman.
Rocky Horror Picture Show people are also in here.
Oh my gosh!
That is how. I see it again. Did not even realize, and that's awesome.
I missed all of this. I should have known. I was like, oh, it's Alex Ross. I should keep an eye out.
I know we're gonna have to go through again just to find him. But yeah, so you have all these people and you have him trying to teach them lessons. Like he has his hologram version, large hologram version of himself talking to them, and they see it's not working out, and then you have these guys, like, is it Shazam and one of the Green Lanterns? I don't remember all their names.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
We got Captain Marvel. Okay.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Captain Marvel. Let's call him what he is.
Billy Batson.
Despite of what Marvel wants you to believe about Brie Larson's
No, that's
movie.
Captain Marvel. Okay, go ahead.
Which one?
No, I thought maybe one of the older gentlemen.
Wizard. No, you were right.
The Wizard.
The Wizard
yes,
is
the Wizard. Shazam. That's what I was talking about. We get to that point. That's what we get to where Deadman, is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Deadman.
Yeah, he sees Norman, and he ends up not being the only one who ends up seeing Norman too. I thought that was interesting. We see that the Flash, because he's in that constant state of motion, in different planes of existence
I
can also see Norman.
Love that. I love the character design of
was
the Flash.
great.
I love what they do with him.
Yes.
Oh my god, this is like a fucking fan letter to me. Like I love this book. I can't. Like I don't even know why I'm reviewing it. I'm just gonna shut up. I'll let you two talk.
No. Yes. I mean, so we have them kind of looking over, trying to decide what to do if they need to interfere or what's going on, what their outcome is. And then you have Superman and Wonder Woman having some intimate moments.
Yep.
With the lasso of truth.
With the lasso of truth.
Yes. Yes, Wonder Woman. But was she really
Yes.
tricking him? I don't think so. I think he knew what he was doing. Oh man.
I think so.
Of course, it's Superman. He's not that naive. I don't think. But yeah,
No.
I love that whole scene where they're talking about this and how she lost. That's where she reveals like how she lost. You know, she is no longer the ambassador to the Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah. That was hard.
Lost
The whole,
her heritage.
you were supposed to change man and you didn't. It just changed you. Like, oh.
Exactly.
I love all these Fawcett characters dying in this dream sequence. These are all Fawcett comic characters. Like that's where. So Captain Marvel wasn't an original DC character. He came from Fawcett Comics when they bought him out. He came over, so now he lives in Fawcett City. But yeah, you've got all these characters like Mary Marvel, and even the bunny is in here as a stuffed animal. Just really cool little Easter egg.
That is cool. But then you get to see how he's been mind controlled by Lex Luthor with these creepy worms.
Gosh, this part was
reminded me of
hard
Wrath of
to
Khan.
deal with.
It was difficult.
Because Billy Baston is all, he's such a great kid, and he's such a neat character. Captain Marvel's such a neat character. And for Lex to get him like that, I was like, I know he's like a grown man now, but can you leave my boy alone? But it makes sense, right? Because you have this kid who is a part of the Justice League, at the height gets to the age of hope, and then it dies around him, and he has to grow up and kind of deal with that and grow and navigate this world without Superman, without his friends, without the camaraderie that he had. I could see it's a very vulnerable place to be, and a perfect person for Lex to get. As we know, Lex just likes
that's how he does.
Vulnerable,
he prays them.
I love that
young
revelation,
people.
though, that it's not Captain Marvel, that it's Billy the whole time. Well,
Yeah.
until he takes the guise of Captain Marvel. I love what happens to a lot of these characters. Like, even though you don't get to see Martian Manhunter, John John's here, you see what's happened to him.
To see him. Oh,
Yeah.
That made me sad.
it broke my heart. John Johns.
But so yes, now we have this is probably one of my favorite scenes where the Flash, because like Amanda said, he's in a state of just being everywhere, notices Norman, and he's like, wait a fucking minute, who's this guy?
He still doesn't tell anybody anything. He doesn't show up. He just comes out and then moves.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
All he tells him is that
the saddest thing the Flash could be doing, it would just be running forever.
Yeah.
But Norman becomes kind of a ooh whatever kind of thing when they're like, oh my god, they're breaking out of prison. Who saw that coming?
Yes, who saw that happening? Not me. Completely surprised.
Oh, but then you get this awesome reveal as Lex Luthor's screwing around with Billy Batson. That wait, Batman isn't really a bad guy. He's just a badass. It
made me so happy when I saw those panels because I just didn't want it to be true. So I was happy that it was resolved within the next issue. We saw, okay, he was just spying on Lex. This is a great. Yes, he's clever, and that he
might be a bastard, but he's a badass. This is Donna Troy's son, Donna and Terry's son, right here.
Oh,
that guy.
Oh,
the Dark Star.
Okay.
See, because she was a Dark Star, so now he took on that mantle.
I gotcha.
So then you have Batman trying to stop Billy Batson, right? Of all people.
Yes.
But it's too late because, of course, Shazam. And he turns into Captain Marvel and takes off. And I love the design of Wonder Woman's warrior outfit. That is one of my favorite designs of Wonder Woman. And they go to war because they get a message from. Now, when I first read this, the first couple of times, I could have sworn that Green Lantern was Hal Jordan. But I think it was my third time that I read this that I realized that it's Alan Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern. And his
okay.
daughter,
Wait, really?
Jade. Yeah, because you got to remember, at this time, Hal was the Parallax, so he was evil. And they didn't even mention him here. So it's pretty interesting because Jade is now wearing the Green Lantern ring. That's Scott's daughter. And Obsidian's in here too, his son. But yeah, now Superman's like, "Hey, Bruce, okay, quit with this shit. I need your help. We need your help. We got to stop this, or we're gonna blow up." And of course, it's not even the bad guys that they have to fear. It's the government.
The government, because they've got a nuke coming.
Who saw that coming? Damn it! Oh my God, I love this page so much.
That's another one I tabbed. It's one of my favorites. I was like,
no one draws him like
Captain Marvel is something else.
Yeah,
he's a good-looking beefcake. My goodness.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Keep your eyes up at the top, Omar. Keep your eyes up at the top.
Oh, he's looking at Superman. Calm down.
Okay.
And then we get to issue 4, which is the fight against Superman versus Captain Marvel and the rest of the evil people locked up, or misguided people.
Yes, and the government's decision. Yep, and then the government's decision to drop a nuke on them.
Of course, because that's how you fix everything.
Yes, it is. How we usually fix everything.
I mean, I can't blame them in that scenario because you have all of your people, all of the metahumans who have been, ignoring human life and fighting and just causing havoc.
They're way too powerful. So what do you do?
It's the Black Hawks.
I mean, they wanted humans to reclaim their existence. I guess that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they send the Black Hawks to do it too, which I love that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Nice little cameo there. I forgot the Ray's son plays an important part. Oh, and I love this when Bruce Wayne shows up with the rest of the heroes, because they're like, "Oh man, we don't have anybody to help us." Come on.
Yes, you do.
You knew it was coming. Yeah. And then you have Wonder Woman kill Vaughn, what's his face? And Bruce is like, "What'd you do?" And she's like, "Don't question me, you bastard."
Yes.
I love that. Like she not only just like teaches him a lesson, like she takes him up into the air like she's gonna drop him, and that's where they notice, oh shit, the nukes are coming.
Yep.
Well, plan B. So yeah, you have this fight with Superman. I love this because he just keeps saying Shazam, because one of Superman's weakness besides kryptonite is magic. So that's why he keeps getting knocked down. And Wonder Woman and Batman take out the planes, and there's one left.
Yep.
I'll let you take it from here.
And then finally Superman manages to reach Billy Batson inside Captain Marvel and his, crazed Luthor controlled mind from the little worms, and he does what he decides the fate of the world, and he sacrifices himself to at least try to save, if not humanity, some of the metahumans. And of course, then we get that amazing panel right here of the aftermath, which I think I did not expect it. This one right here, right after the bomb explodes.
Oh,
and
God,
Superman back there, and
such a great panel.
That's beautiful. And you see, they saved some, but not all. And
and Superman gets dark. He's like, you killed my friends. I'm gonna go he's gonna go take out the UN.
He goes to take them out.
Yeah, I mean, he is literally gonna bury them inside of their own building.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for my boy Norman McKay here.
That's right, Norman. Yeah. That was his role the whole time.
Never-ending story moment where he and the Spectre talked, and the Spectre was like, "No, you need to judge what happens right now. I've been released to genocide, but what should happen here? You judge. I brought you here to judge." He's like,
Bastion. That is so totally that scene. That is a very good comparison. I was just
he's a regular dude who talked to Superman one time. Talked Superman down from destroying everything and basically living out.
But isn't that the character of Superman to do that, though?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense for that character to
It
do
does.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
there's
love
still
that. Like he gives up and they all come in and he's like, "Oh, you guys are still alive. That's good."
He's like, oh, my friends are still here.
Yeah, you guys are about to see me commit murder, and I love that they hang Captain Marvel's
Yes.
little cape outside of the UN building.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I thought that was a nice little tribute to the fallen heroes, and they got they got Lex Luthor cleaning
That's so awesome.
bedpans. I love that.
His just desserts.
Oh man. So yeah, let's talk about the ending. Okay. So there was this huge fight. They stopped, the nuke dropped on Kansas again. And
Yes.
a lot of heroes died. A lot of people died. And Superman was about to go batshit crazy, but was stopped by Norman. And then we get to the ending. What did you guys were you satisfied with what happened at the end? Let's talk about that.
Now we talking about a year later when they're
Yeah, when time moves forward, where they are, where the characters are.
I was extremely pleased with the ending. I really got a kick out of her telling Clark to be nice when he saw the waiter version of him. And I'll tell you, those waiters in the beginning and the end, whew, they are some classy characters.
Okay.
They wear those suits well, I guess. No, I love the ending. And I think that's one of the best things about it, because we have Norman, who's such a, he's a regular Joe, and you bring these larger-than-life characters like Wonder Woman and Superman and even Batman to something that's so normal as a cafe built around their personas, right? Honoring their superhero personas, but they're just getting a meal and talking about life, like getting pregnant and having a baby and being a godparent and all that stuff. And it's just,
oh man, I love that Batman figured that out.
Yes,
immediately, obviously pregnant. Duh, I'm world's detective.
He is the world's greatest detective. And so I just thought it was a really good way to end it. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I love the trope of superheroes eating in cafes that are themed after them. I see it so often, but I'll never get tired of it because it's such a nice, like,
it's beautiful.
Now we're gonna relax time, like Batman eating at Batburger, or those kind of situations.
Steak.
Even though it's steak, well done, and he will not take any of this man of beef crap.
Yeah.
This is one of my last Easter egg, I promise, but that is right here. You got Alex Ross and Mark Waid and the editor Dan, I cannot remember his name at the time, back here behind them.
It is, isn't it?
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I love that. I love how he's gonna have a goddaughter, and he realizes, or it could be he said a godson, but then of course Wonder Woman corrected him.
Daughter.
And he's like, man, that's gonna be a badass kid.
Yeah, exactly.
He's right.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
so
the Easter egg that I know both of you notice, you had to have, right? Who's this guy?
What
Wait.
guy?
This here, I'm sorry, let me put it on me. It's a very, very final page.
Is that Stan? I don't. Yeah.
No,
who is it?
It's the lead character in Marvels. The character in Marvels.
Oh, I did not see it at all.
I did not. Awesome. Yeah, I did not even realize.
I wanted
to get half of his.
I have to open Comixology right now so I can look at it because I can't see it.
You're like, wait a minute.
Yep, it's him. What the heck was his name? That's what I couldn't remember. Was his name Phil Sheldon? That's it. That's Phil Sheldon at the very end. In the very corner, looking at the Spectre's menu.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because these two stories go so well together.
Oh, they do. Yeah,
they do. Like, it's weird, right? Because like Marvels was kind of a love letter to that Silver Age kind of storytelling, where this was more of both Silver Golden Age, but here's some badass things that's going to happen in the future too. I love that about this. God, every time I read this, I remember why I love this book so much. So 10 out of 10 for me, all day, every day.
Absolutely, 10 out of
It's
10.
beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it was a great read. And what I liked about it, even as like a new reader, it's such a complete and total story that, yeah, maybe I didn't know all the characters because I haven't read but I didn't need to know all of them to enjoy the crux of the story, to enjoy what Mark Waid was trying to say and what he was trying to get at with it. Because it's just a very complete story. And even though it's 4 issues, but I felt like there wasn't a lot of weird random stuff that went on. It just was very to the point. Here's our plot. Here's where we're going with it. And he did it so well. I just can't commend him enough for it.
Why they never they never let him do, like, there was a follow-up to this called The Kingdom, which was okay because it wasn't Alex Ross. But what I consider a proper
Ross
follow-up,
and Waid have a...
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I consider a proper follow-up to this is Thy Kingdom Come. And that's a huge JSA. It's one of Jeff Johns' final JSA stories. And it is wonderful. And it's beautiful. And with a lot of like, holy shit, I can't believe they did that moments. It's one of my favorite arcs of that run. And I don't know if any of the people whether in the comments later on or if any of the people in the chat have read it, but that is absolutely one of my favorite story arcs in JSA. And I love JSA. JSA is probably my favorite thing that Jeff Johns ever wrote. But that's up there among my top 3 favorite stories from JSA. I love it. And I think it was a really nice follow-up because a lot of the characters are brought back from this point. And how they do it, I thought was really unique. But yes, if you own the Absolute, I think this is also in the deluxe edition. You get these nice little pages of extras in the back of just his artwork and his character designs. A lot of characters that you're like, oh God, where was this? I don't remember that guy. Oh, he was in background of page 48, panel 3. Okay. Like he spent hours and hours, like Red Hood, which is the daughter of Red Arrow. Like, all these characters that barely
appear.
Is that
Liam?
No. It's
Oh God. That sucks. I was so excited. I would have cried if you were like, Liam. I would have been like,
it is. That's right. Yeah, because that's Cheshire's daughter. Yeah.
Oh.
Then you have Mr. Miracle,
where she grows up and isn't dead.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Donna Troy's son feels the same way because they killed him off too several times. Then you have Mr. Miracle and Big Barda's daughter right here.
Yeah.
Just so much in this book. Like, man, I love it. Good Lord. It to me, it never got to DC, like, as far as like a possible future, it never got better than this. And each time I read this, I find new little things I love about it. So good to hear that you all really liked it too, and it wasn't terribly confusing, which I don't think it was.
No.
But because you wouldn't know either way, like who's new or who's an older character anyway, when new characters are introduced, when they're thrown in your face,
Yeah, besides the big 3, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I mean, that's really all you really need to know, because it was a Superman story, but also kind of a Justice League story. It combined into one almost, the way, it seemed that way to me anyway.
Yeah. So this put me in the Christmas spirit.
Did it? Makes you want to go buy gifts now or go sing Christmas?
Is it just the nostalgia?
Just nostalgia
of being in high school all over again as these issues are coming out, and just rushing home to read them because they were 48 pages long. That's, oh God, I remember that summer. It was great. So yes, Kingdom Come. Never gets old. So how's everybody in the chat doing? What did you all think?
They're
of Kingdom
good.
Come?
I know.
I try to join in when I'm not going on a whole spiel about how great fucking Billy Batson's dong looks in those tights.
I couldn't help but notice that.
Well, it's in your face when he's like. Anyway.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he did it on. Yeah.
Yeah, how's everybody in the chat doing? Did you all enjoy this as much as we did?
It seems like everyone has, yeah.
Did anybody not like it? And even if you're not live with us tonight, maybe leave the comments down below as to why you didn't. We don't hate. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. There are people out there that love Bendis as Superman.
Well, including Mark Waid, who wrote this.
So there you go.
Mark Waid redeemed himself when he was talking about Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge comics, so it's all good.
He's okay.
It's a perfect
Everyone
balance.
has that one, author, one story that everyone else hates,
It's well, the new Superman. But, okay, before we go on that,
tangent.
did this to you all feel like a Superman story? Because I always put it. It's hard to put it like I put it as one of the best Justice League stories. I also put it in like one of my top Superman stories, top DC stories. I try to sneak it in everywhere I can.
That's what I was just saying. It does, to me, it felt like it could have, at first it felt this is very much a Superman story. This is about him and his character arc. But then it was also about the Justice League, coming back from nothing and kind of reforming and going through their own trials and tribulations within their ranks. So to me, it felt like both.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So it could have been both. Yeah, that's why I can see why you would want to put it in your list when it comes to just choosing like best Superman books or best Justice League books. I can see why you would do it for both because it could easily be said for both.
So what about you, Maddie? What did you think? Did you think it was a Justice League book or a Superman story or a DC story?
I think it's half and half. I do think it was very Superman centric, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think he was a good person to focus on in that story, but it also felt like it's an overall Justice League kind of story. I don't know. It's kind of hard to narrow that down, really.
Yeah.
In the same way Marvel's was, because even though this story wasn't as observer, like as it didn't have as much observation with that character like Marvel's did, which was very much focused on this.
Oh yes.
I don't know. I think if you were trying to say like top Superman stories, you'd be crazy not to include this. But I wouldn't consider it necessarily just that. Same way if you were like talking about top Justice League stories. At my point where I am right now, I would include this. So I think it's just one of those things that can go into so many because it does so much for so many different characters.
Yeah. Have you read? Somebody was asking about his Daredevil run. You read it, right, Maddie?
I haven't finished it because I need to get the first volume was on Comixology for free.
Nice.
So I started it, but I need to get the hardcovers.
I will say that I really enjoy it, but it is different than any other Daredevil I've read. It is a lot. I don't even want to say cheesy. That's not even the right word. It's a little hokey, but it's good. It's like different. It's not dark at all, which is what everybody seems to write Daredevil like. But if we're talking about Mark Waid, we can't talk about his greatest work ever, and that is Flash. I mean, he built the mythos that is Flash.
That's the one I want to read.
Now, I enjoy Jeff Johns' work a lot more than I did Mark Waid's, but I feel like we wouldn't have a Jeff Johns if it wasn't for Mark Waid, because Mark Waid built this whole Speed Force and built this whole mythos to Flash that Jeff Johns kind of perfected. So it's kind of unfair to say that Jeff Johns is a better writer, but it's also in the same sense, like I enjoyed it more than I did Mark Waid. But Mark Waid's Flash is phenomenal if you've never read it. And luckily for us, DC keeps pumping the trade paperbacks out. While our Impulse omnibuses get canceled, we're now getting an Impulse trade paperback. So maybe sometime we'll get some kind of Mark Waid Flash omnibus. That would be nice. But that's probably my favorite work that Mark Waid ever did was Flash. This comes in second because I love Kingdom Come. His Fantastic Four is awesome, and then of course Irredeemable, which I need to get, but I'm missing Volume 4 because Boom Studios sucks at printing those books out. This is Old Man Superman. Yes, it is Old Man Superman. Old Man Superman. Old Man Logan wasn't.
Yeah, it is Old Man.
Mark Miller's been stealing storylines for years. There, I said it. Never been a fan of that guy. That was a Chris Claremont story that he took. Anyway, what did you say, Amanda? Did you say?
No, I enjoyed Philip's comment. It's dark because he's blind. Don't be insensitive. Thanks, Philip.
That's good.
I enjoyed that. That made me chuckle. Yeah, that was good.
Oh yeah, Birthright. Absolutely. Birthright is one of my other favorite Superman stories. That's also written by Mark Waid, and Lionel Yu did the artwork on that. Farm Strong Superman. That's right.
Yep.
That's what he is in this book. So what's next? What's next week? What are we reading next week?
Klaus. Right?
Right?
Yes,
Right,
I
Maddie?
started it already, so
Yeah.
that would be right.
Klaus.
Klaus.
Klaus and then Bitterman.
Yep, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I need to get those for you all to read.
Oh, I have
Are-
them all.
You have them in Comixology? The the Miles
You gave
Morales stuff?
when back a year ago, you gave me every Spider-Man comic ever, Ultimate and Amazing, Spectacular, you name it, you gave it to me. So I have all of the Ultimate Spider-Man until Peter Parker's death, spoilers, and then Miles Morales.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Maddie, are you set too? You got the
I
Ultimate
can
Spider-Man?
check right now, actually, because I'm
Awesome.
not sure.
So let me go get Klaus so our viewers know what we're going to be reading next.
I'll need it. Please and thanks.
Did he leave us?
Oh, I guess. Well, okay. So we're reading Klaus next week, you guys, and that's great. I've
Yes.
already read it, so I'm super excited.
I'm so
I'm
proud
looking
of you two
forward
for
to-
not like.
Hey, he's back. What happened?
It's not like
You're always
usually.
leaving for a second to get the book, so our viewers know what book we're going to be reviewing next time.
Yes.
I said that. Were you not listening to me?
No,
Well, I
I
didn't know
just
you
say
were
it.
like shut. It just your whole image. It looked like you were just gone, and then yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just going to show them. So this is the book we're going to be talking about next Tuesday. This is Grant Morrison's Klaus. Very unlike Grant Morrison stories. Probably one of the most unlike Grant Morrison stories I've read. But it's wonderful. It's going to kick off the holiday season. If you've never read it, if you're looking for a hot Santa Claus in your life, this is the book.
Not
you.
Kurt Russell. Have you not seen Kurt Russell in?
You haven't seen Klaus yet. Look how handsome that dude is.
I mean,
he is kind of sexy.
But anyway, that is the book we will be talking about next Tuesday. And then Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales after that, the following Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, if there's any questions in the chat, please type them up. Or if there's any questions, leave them down below if you're not watching this live.
Mm-hmm.
So, Amanda, well, people might be asking questions while they're thinking and typing things up. How are you liking your Spider-Man video game?
Oh, yeah. So I took advantage of GameStop's Black Friday deal. I don't have a PS4 for those of you who don't know. And so they were doing a deal to get the PS4 with Spider-Man for $199. So I couldn't pass it up. It was 1 terabyte too. So it's a fairly large for PlayStation. So I went ahead and bought it and I started playing it last night and it is phenomenal. It is beautiful.
Make sure you get that Black Cat DLC too.
I think that's what I want to get because I love Black Cat. So I'm looking forward to adding that to my storylines. But yeah, it is. So far, it's been great. I got to play it last night because it came while I was gone away on a trip. And then I got back late Sunday night, late. So as soon as I got home from work yesterday, plugged it up, downloaded it, and started playing it. So it's been a blast. I love it so much. And I haven't played a PlayStation in years since my sister and I played back in high school.
What games did you play back then?
Glad for you to get back in.
In high school with the original PlayStation, or PlayStation 2, sorry. We played a lot of Elder Scrolls.
Oh my God, you nerd.
Yeah. A lot of whenever they came out with the Lord of the Rings game for the movies, because remember I was in high school when all those movies came out. We bought the PlayStation 2 version of the movie for the movie, so we would play through it. We would take turns being like Frodo and Sam and all that stuff, and a ton of racing games. Splashdown was our favorite game we played. It's more of a what are those jet ski racing. So we would spend hours just trying to figure out all the cool combos for like the whirly bird where you jump up on your seat and whirl your feet around as you go. Yeah. So it was insane. Those were the main stuff we played. We just were huge into that fantasy stuff. So we played a lot of those types of games in high school. And then I went off to college. I couldn't take it with me and I don't know what happened to it. My brothers played it, I guess, because they're way younger than me. And then I guess my mom either threw it out, sold it, or something, because then my little brother, got into Xbox, and that's what he plays now, since, he's way better than I ever was.
So there's a couple questions in the chat.
Yeah.
One of them, I'll start from the top, is what was the best comic by Mark Waid? I've already said Flash. That was my favorite. What about you, Maddie? I know you've been reading a lot of Mark Waid because you interviewed the guy.
Yeah.
I did. Shameless plug. You can see me interview him on Omnibus Collectors Network. Trail's name. Whoops.
That's okay. Redo.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. It keeps kind of changing. Maybe I've liked everything I've read so far. Nothing's hit me as much as Superman Birthright, so I think I'll keep staying on that. Even though I think Irredeemable is one of the best superhero stories I've ever read. But I judged my favorites based on what impacted me the most after I read it.
Mm-hmm.
And what gives me the most feels, I guess. So, I can look up something and be like, I think this is the better story, definitely. But for me, I would rather go back and read Superman Birthright again and again, probably, because it's just a nice story. So I think Birthright right now is my favorite.
Awesome. And Amanda, would you say Kingdom Come?
Yeah, because I think that's the only thing I've read
by Mark Waid
so far.
Hey, that's a great start. We put that bar up so high. Like, it's up here.
Did.
Next thing by Mark
Waid. I do want to read his Flash, because I was looking, I was like, well, I know he's read other stuff, so I looked him up on online, and I said, oh, he's written the Flash that I keep hearing about that I should read. So
him and Jeff Johns, yeah.
You'll have to make that something that we can read at some point.
Absolutely. I plan on that. Let's see. There was other questions in here. Just picked up the slot Silver Surfer. That's the Dan slot in Mike Allred, Silver Surfer. No, that's one that I'm reviewing with the Omnibros. So I haven't read it at all. So I don't know what to expect. It looks interesting. Slott is one of those writers that's hit or miss with me, depending on who his artist is. But I'm a huge fan of Mike Allred. He's the guy that co-created created Madman, and he did a huge stint on. He was on iZombie, and he did Ecstatics, formerly X-Force, and I enjoy both of those books mainly because of the art. So I'm really, really excited to read this run. So I haven't read it yet.
Awesome.
Was Kingdom Come the first time Red Robin costume was featured? I want to say yes. I want to say that's where the character of Red Robin, because then we had that Yost and Kyle Red Robin run right after Damian came back, right after Batman R.I.P., and then Fabian Nicieza took over that. And that's when he donned the mantle of Red Robin. But before that, he was just known as Robin, even though there was two other Robins before him, right? You had Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, then Tim Drake. But when, I guess, throwing in a fourth Robin like Damian, because unfortunately nobody ever, even within the Batman DC comics, nobody ever counted Stephanie Brown as a Robin, even though she died wearing the Robin costume. She died wearing the spoiler costume, but still, that was such a weird move by DC. But I'm just glad they brought her back. So yeah, that's the first time. Yes, this is everything in as far as Klaus. There was a short story last year, and I think Morrison said he was going to do one short story every year. So those might be collected somewhere else, but this is the entire story of Klaus in here from Boom Studios, and it's a wonderful read. You guys should definitely read that. Omar, you have all the other volumes of Irredeemable. No, I'm missing 4 and 5, Philip. 4 and 5. I've got 1, 2, and 3. Just missing 4 and 5. And I wasn't going to get 5 until I got 4 because I'm weird like that. Is Fear Agent too good? Oh, God. Yes. Yes, it's too good. It's so good. It's too good. No, Fear Agent to me is the best Rick Remender story ever. I love Deadly Class, but I think that Fear Agent was his magnum opus. Like, he wrote so much of himself in there. You know, alcoholic, depression, all that's, oh my God, it's wonderful. It's time travel. It's sci-fi pop from the 50s. It's aliens. It's wonderful. And I can't wait to read it with these two ladies eventually. But yeah, Fear Agent, totally. That's the best Rick Remender stuff. And I know,
Go ahead.
yeah, Carrie Kelly. I know Ray, but she's from a possible future, so she doesn't count as a Robin, right? Or does she? I don't know. No, wait. Carrie Kelly did appear in New 52, didn't she? Shit, I can't keep up with DC.
No, I don't think so.
prices.
Did she?
I thought there was a character that appeared that I thought was Carrie Kelly. Anyway, she's from the Dark Knight Returns. So the Frank Miller possible future. Which, he did year 1 and then he did his.
Oh yeah, she does appear in
bookend.
52.
Yeah.
Does she? That's what I thought.
She's a college student and Damian Wayne's acting instructor.
But she wasn't a Robin though. She was just Carrie Kelly.
No, I think it's just like a little
cameo
Easter.
Or something.
Yeah, because as an homage to Dark Knight Returns, she does wear a Robin costume as a Halloween costume in her first appearance.
Okay, Philip Evans says she counts. Okay, she counts, Philip.
Philip counts her.
I'm sure. Sure, she counts. So 5 Robins, 6 Robins. I don't know. I can't keep track of the Robins. But we did get a Young Justice trailer that just dropped.
Yes,
we did. I watched it.
It's so good.
Does it? Okay, on a scale of Titans to something that you enjoy, where is it?
It's way up there with something I enjoy.
See what I did there? I put Titans down here.
I didn't mind this last episode of Titans. I know you guys are all waiting to watch, more.
I'm gonna start my subscription again on Friday when Donna shows up.
Oh, gotcha. The last episode wasn't bad. I enjoyed it, and I think we'll start to see some more answers about where they're taking like Rachel's Raven storyline and what her origin story is going to be in relation to this one. So, we'll see what happens. But Young Justice trailer looks awesome.
Yes.
January 4th, everyone. January 4th.
I'm really excited about that. Ever since they canceled that show, like there were rumors like Peter David was going to come in and do a season 3, and I remember asking him when I went to Dragon Con a couple years ago, and he was like, "Nobody told me," and I'm like, "Shit, okay, sorry." But now it's real, it's happening, and I can't wait because that show should have never been canceled. It was so good, and really I remember one time Netflix was going to pick it up, so I'm glad somebody did.
Yes. Albeit it's actually DC picked it up.
Yeah. Interesting that it turned out to be DC, but it's the whole reason to have that subscription, at least to me, because everything else I don't know. I guess I don't know. I mean, I'm glad you're enjoying Titans. I think I've watched 4 episodes now because I'm not trying to let them build up that much because it's gonna be like 10 episodes before I catch up, so I'm doing like 2 at a time. And episode 4 was not that good. So if they get better, that's awesome. All right. So is that it? Is that what we're talking about? We're gonna end it here.
Yeah.
All right. So don't forget to hit that like. No, you know what? I'll let Amanda. I'm sorry, Amanda. You do your thing.
Yeah. All right, everyone. So thanks for joining us. We really appreciate spending time with you guys this evening. And for those who are watching not live, thank you for watching the show. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button because we like those. It helps so you can see what other great content is going on in our channel. We have new stuff almost out every day now. So definitely check out our new content when you have time, or old content too. And you guys have all become our little minties. So we just want to say that's what someone in one of our chats had called us minties. I like it. We're coining it a term for all of us on the show and all of our fans.
You're making this executive decision. Okay.
I think it was commented on in our Slack chat, but other than that, I'm making executive decision. We are the minties. That is our nickname, and so are you guys. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to also subscribe to all our social media channels and keep up to date on our announcements and stuff. Thank you guys, and stay minty, my friends.